Let's make it a good day.
Today on The Jason Show, not all the drama on The Bachelorette is on camera. New reports say Chris Harrison may be fighting a little dirty to keep his job. We'll break it down. Plus, surprise! A Hollywood star shocks a group of grads by giving them a photo session they'll never forget. And best things to watch. Shane and I share our latest streaming obsessions, covering food, travel, and a real-life crime.
Here we go.
Let's make it a good day. We do it our own way. Let's make it a good day. Oh, no matter what they say. Oh, yeah, yeah.
We did it. We made it to Tuesday. Welcome to The Jason Show. You get Shane Wells and Kendall Mark again.
Yeah, you do.
The Shendel Show. You know you love it.
The Shendel Show. Of course, Jason's off. He'll be back tomorrow. Had a couple of questions. Yes, he's fine. He'll be back. Just taking a little bit of R&R. Everybody needs it. Shane, I have two questions.
Okay.
One, how was soccer last night?
I think it went, I heard it went really well. So I may have, you know what? Sometimes you have to prioritize.
This is her child's soccer game, by the way.
Or is it the premiere of The Bachelorette? So I chose Katie Thurston last night. There are like 54 soccer games and only one Bachelorette premiere. She was fine.
Chose The Bachelorette. But I thought it was really funny. Yesterday we talked about this, that it has been so hot at these games. And the kids, how old are they?
They're 7. They're
Seven.
first graders. Well, I guess going to be second, yeah.
Okay, so they like don't want to play.
It's
so hot.
real hot. They go through a lot of water breaks. And yeah, sometimes they'll be like, all right, we need some more players. And they're like, I'm good. Like, okay. So
yeah,
we'll just play with 2 girls.
Too
it's
hot.
Cool.
It's too hot. And I thought this was my other fun fact learning yesterday. Shane has subbed in as coach before.
I did coach last Friday.
Look at you.
It really, I didn't hear any
applause.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So late, but
the truth is, through this soccer league that she's in, the first 30 minutes, it's great. These college kids teach the kids the tricks. And then through 30 minutes, they play a game, and you just literally have to sub the kids in and out. They're in first grade. I'm not yelling at them. I'm just going to say, like, great job. All right, Liesel, you do it, Ellie. And, you know, that's kind of more my style. So I think I was a great cheerleader. I don't know about coach.
When you were telling me about this, you're like, yeah, I mean, I had to step in. I played a little bit, like, way back in the day. And you're like, their names are on their jersey, so you're just kind of yelling their names the whole time.
Thank you for first names on the back of jerseys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when they're all running around together. Like,
they're hard. I mean, it's just hard to see, and it's hot.
Did you play soccer?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I did not.
You might be the only kid in America.
I know. Honestly,
I feel like it's one of those
big
sports everybody, like, at some point plays.
Yeah, the grade a year younger than me, they played a lot of soccer because one of the girls came from the Twin Cities area and brought like soccer to Red Wing. I don't know.
Okay, gotcha.
But we just, my age, I don't know anyone from my grade that played soccer. Maybe like 1 or 2 who played somewhere else, but
okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Which brought me to 2, which was you picked The Bachelorette.
I did.
Oh, for Karis, I'm so sorry. We're gonna have to go to therapy about this.
No, she's fine.
But Katie Thurston, we're gonna talk about it with producer Ted, obviously. We don't want to stomp on his parade, but it was the first night without Chris Harrison.
It was. It's
First
kind of a big
thoughts?
deal. So should we do this?
I think we need some.
We got to get the hot dish going because this for sure will top our hot dish.
It'll
Ooh,
be
it
like
looks
cheese.
good today. Yeah.
Cheese sprinkled on top.
Extra cheesy. So The Bachelorette, as you mentioned, debuted last night. I chose that over my daughter. One franchise staple was noticeably absent. Chris Harrison. He's sitting out this season, and he soon could be leaving the show for good in what can only be described as the most dramatic exit in Bachelor history. We're really telling the truth when we say that. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Chris is negotiating his exit from the show. Apparently, the talks, they're not going so well, so Chris is not happy about being sidelined, and according to that report, he's also threatened to reveal behind-the-scenes information about the show's creator. Did you make some popcorn for us today, Jeff?
For real.
This is, like, give me all the popcorn.
Can you take like 1 less million and still just give us the details? It's worth it.
I wonder how much money he's making at this point because they're like 48 seasons into the show.
I've heard it's an 8-figure. Count it. Eight-figure
Sounds
deal.
like a lot.
As for this season of The Bachelorette, we'll of course get the juicy details a bit later with producer Ted. But first, Katie was on Kimmel last night, and she showed off some of the most important skills she's perfected on the show. Take a look.
Let's practice. Show me how you break up with, with me. If we could get some lighting, it would be nice. So here we go. I keep this under the desk in case of emergency, but that's. Go ahead. You want to take one, or?
I'll hold the rose.
Yes. Oh, great, with the rose.
I go.
Okay. All right. I'll have my drink.
I go. I don't even know why I picked this up because I'm actually not giving it to you.
Wow, that's a tough start.
Hey, Matt did it to me, so you know I learned from the best.
Okay. All right.
I just want to thank you for joining me on this journey. This journey was a journey, and I just don't know if you were here for the right reasons.
This is what I work here.
I mean, you really made the most dramatic season yet.
Uh-huh.
And after Fantasy Suites, you left me very disappointed. So, I think it's...
Big gulps, Jimmy, big gulps.
Yeah, he made his Final Four predictions, by the way, and he usually gets at least a few of these. Andrew S., the football player from Austria, Justin, the artist from Baltimore, Connor B., who's the math teacher, but you probably know him better as the cat guy, and Greg, who got the first impression rose.
Okay.
Yep. Now, before we move on, the internet works in mysterious ways. Sometimes. We're going to warn you. Once we show you this, because I saw this on Twitter last night, you cannot unsee it. This is an actual Google search going viral. Katie and former SNL star Vanessa Bayer. Are they twins? Are they related? Same person? And you know what's funny? Vanessa Bayer did a ton of the SNL skits.
Back in the day.
When they would do that "Can I Steal Him for a Second" bit.
Yeah.
She was always the girl in that one. So, I mean,
okay,
are we being like punked?
Right, I'm surprised it took people this long. I have thought that since she was on the show.
You started this.
Basically, someone just stole my idea and put it on the interwebs.
Yep, and now we're talking about it.
Okay, so that aside, Kimmel aside, predictions aside, because we'll get some from Ted, we're backing all the way up to Chris Harrison.
Okay.
Okay. We talked about his deal, how he's reportedly exiting the franchise for a big old fat chick, and that way he won't say a single word. Did you, I don't want to say miss him, but was it a little odd not having him there since he's been there every single season as someone like me or like Ted or people watching that have watched the show for years? Was it kind of odd not having him there?
I don't think his role is honestly that important. Some people are like, I'll never watch it without him. He really doesn't do a lot when you think about it. He asks like 4 basic questions and then says, this is the final rose. So, I mean, really,
right.
But the two gals together, and I love them both separately, it felt a little clunky, but I also felt like Katie was uncomfortable.
Yes.
So I read that. I felt that from all three, that it kind of felt a little awkward, and then that made me feel awkward.
Absolutely.
What'd you get?
Yeah, I think we're on the same wavelength here. Okay. I think as women, and maybe let us know what you think on our social media accounts, because I'm curious, we're curious. Having 30-something-year-old insanely beautiful, talented former bachelorettes, even though they're very happily engaged, wonderful women, be there when you're already in a situation where you're like, gosh, do I deserve this? Is everybody here for the right reasons? Do they like me? It's gotta be a really you gotta feel really, I would feel really self-conscious. I would prefer it to be someone old enough, like a Trista, like if she had done it, she's a little bit older than they are.
More of like a motherly figure.
Maybe
than
just
a
someone not my age.
Figure, like instead of being on the same level, it's.
Yes, I think that that's how I would feel. It'd be almost like, and they've already been the Bachelorettes, so you already see them in that role.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting to settle with. Plus having 2 of them, I don't know. Anyway.
Agreed.
Anyway, Jimmy Fallon welcomed his first full in-studio audience in more than a year. Pretty exciting. Robert De Niro was one of his guests, and he revealed something about one of his most iconic movie lines. Watch this.
One of the most iconic lines in the movie, You Talking to Me, was not actually in the script of Taxi Driver. Did you ad-lib that line?
More or less, yeah.
Yeah. Is that the line that people yell out to you the most when they see you?
Sometimes, yes. From odd places, you know, a bunch of kids pull up next to me I remember years ago in LA, down in the valley or somewhere in Culver City, kids pull up next to me at a red light and they say and talk to me. I don't know how they recognize me or whatever. So,
do you ever answer them back?
no.
I'm not talking to you.
Well, De Niro is promoting the 20th year of the Tribeca Film Festival. He helped create the festival, if you didn't know this, to help revitalize Lower Manhattan following 9/11. I did not know that that's when it started, and that's why he started it, so that was cool.
I had no clue on that. Wow, he's just a ball of energy.
They also talked about Big, the movie Big.
Yeah.
That was very big.
Yeah.
He was originally slated to play Tom Hanks's role. I can't remember his name. What's the guy's name?
He was going to be Tom Hanks's role?
Yeah, so the guy who's
Wow.
the big, but
That doesn't feel like the right...
Yeah, he didn't really explain how it happened, just something about contract and the rest is history, blah, 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 blah.
I think it turned out just the way it should.
Right.
Right. All right, now lots more to come on this Tuesday morning.
We will be right back after this quick break.
Still to come today, another serving of hot dish. Mariah Carey is responding to rumors she just had a blow up with Jay-Z over the future of her career. Find out what the diva is saying. Plus, our resident Bachelorette expert, producer Ted, is back with his review of the premiere episode. Find out what he thinks of Katie and his picks to win. And a trip back in time. How does it feel? The new poll names the best decade in history when it comes to music. Find out which era finished on top when the Jason Show continues.
Are you in your neighborhood or are you not in your neighborhood?
Kind of. No, I'm like a couple blocks from where I grew up. I'm truly surrounded by haunting memories.
What else?
I mean, actually, well, a couple blocks away, our family friends owned a strip club called Teasers. and so it's like one of my dearest childhood friends, his parents owned Teasers, and they would pick me up after school and we would carpool. And once we got to go over there and we were in the parking lot, they were just like running an errand, picking something up or something. And we weren't allowed to go in because, you know, it's a topless bar.
Right,
but,
yeah.
And we were like 9, but they did let us wait in the parking lot. And as a reward for that, they brought out a massive snake, like a python, that I guess they used in some of the sexual showings that they did. And then that was the first time that I ever got to touch a snake, and really my first taste of showbiz.
Adie Bryant on with Kimmel last night talking about her very sweet and innocent childhood memories of Teasers.
Some people just have all the luck. What stories you could tell.
Seriously.
My best friend's parents owned a strip club.
And have a giant python.
Yeah.
By the way, she just wrapped up the 9th season on SNL, and she also stars in the Hulu show Shrill. That's in its 3rd and final season. So Jimmy asked her about that show coming to an end. Take a look.
Third and final season of the show. Is that how you had it planned? You would do 3 seasons?
I mean, no, not really. We were really excited. We wrote and shot this season, and then we found out kind of when we got into the editing process. So they were like, okay, this is the final season. So it was this weird thing where it's not written to be the end, but it is the end. And so, you know, in editing, we had to kind of bring the story to like this place where it has some closure. This show is about like a person who's fat, who wants to change their life and find their own confidence, but not change their body. And I think that kind of thing, especially with body positivity, there's a lot of pressure to have it be like this perfect A+ win. She's self-confident, you know? And I think because we didn't have that pressure from the network or the studio to give it this like kind of corny, like this is her fight song ending, we got to end it in this kind of more bittersweet, realistic way about like, you know, it's a journey. Yeah.
That's better.
Now, Shrill is available on Hulu. I have that on my list because people talk about it being really good.
Yeah, I had never heard of it until we talked about this story. I was like, Shrill. But I don't have Hulu.
That's a problem.
I know.
Jason will give you his password. That's what he always
says
tells
that
me.
every time.
Right, and I've never got a password. Have you got a password yet?
You never got one in all those years?
You got a password?
Of course I'm never gonna get a password
okay.
now.
I'm glad we're hashing this out right here.
Executive producer Jeff, you got a password?
He got a password. How many years have you worked with Jason to finally actually get said password? 20. So we got a little work to put in.
Well, if we add us together, we're still not even
Nope.
there. Next to the dish, it's the moment some of us have all been waiting for. The trailer for the new season of Dr. Pimple Popper and Dr. Lee embarks on a journey featuring some of her biggest cases yet.
Hello, cuties. Hi. Are you okay?
Extremely nervous and terrified.
Oh, you could see it leaking a little. Wait, it's
the pus.
Okay.
It's the pus.
Yes, a little higher up there. Yeah.
I get boils on top of that, and I don't know what to do.
I have a hard time breathing and uncomfortable.
I'm gonna take a look, okay?
Yeah, whatever you need to do.
It's like the rock formation in England, the one that they don't know.
Stonehenge?
Yes. It's like Pilar Sisthenge.
Oh, my word. I know I'm supposed to read something, but I'm very distracted. The show was shot during the pandemic, hence the masks, and so Dr. Lee meets with patients outside in a tent. This will be the 6th season of Dr. Pimple Popper, and it's going to hit TLC next month. Okay. I mean, honestly, it would be incredibly challenging to live with something like that and be like, I need toilet paper. I don't really want to go to the store when other people are there because they're all going to stare at me.
Yep.
But that doesn't make it any easier for me to watch.
Nope. Jason loves to watch. I think what she does, I think this show needs a new name. It sounds so trivial, Dr. Pimple Popper. I mean, look what she's working with. This is like you said, life-altering issues and things that affect how you go about your daily life. It's not like you got a
girl, that ain't no pimple
from your mask one day, like most people deal with.
No. Okay, Shane watching this, her face was like this. Like slow progression of like.
I'm not one of those people that likes to watch the videos where the stuff comes out, so it's not quite for me, but good for her for helping people.
And for all of you on the Learning Channel, God bless. Okay, next on the dish, it's finally happening. The Munsters, yes, is getting a second go. Rob Zombie, that Rob Zombie, yeah, you know him, confirms he will direct a feature film based on the Munsters. He's a longtime fan of the show and has wanted to reboot it for the last 20 years. The sitcom aired for 70 episodes back in the 60s. The White Zombie singer has directed a couple of different horror films. I think the Halloween from 2007 and then the Halloween 2 after that he did, plus a couple of the ones that I hadn't heard of. Devil's Rejects he did, I think. Either way, I didn't know a ton about the Munsters. I didn't. The Addams Family, however, has made a huge go of it all over again, right? And they came out originally around the same time.
Many times.
Right. And so I got to think that this is going to be pretty successful, you know?
Is it going to be a horror movie if that's what he
No. Oh. So this family is this family who moves from Transylvania to the suburbs of America.
So I get them and the Addams Family confused.
Easy to do. They came out around the same time. This is like Frankenstein.
I remember watching a few of these episodes back in the day.
Yeah.
Like on Nickelodeon.
Right, when they'd have the
night or whatever that older vintage Nick channel was.
Yeah, they're just this nice, non-monstrous monster family.
Okay, sounds good. Next in the dish, Mariah Carey, she's responding to rumors of a beef with Beyonce's hubby and music mogul. He's kind of a big deal too, Jay-Z.
Over the weekend, the Sun newspaper said Mariah ended the relationship with Jay-Z's management company, Rock Nation, after, quote, an explosive fight, because you gotta believe everything the Sun says. Reports are Mariah and the company had different visions for the future of her career. Hey, she did leave Rock Nation, but she's saying, there was no fight. On social media, the Queen said the only, quote, explosive situation I'd ever get into with Hova, that's Jay-Z's nickname, is a creative tangent, such as our #1 song, Heartbreaker. She goes on to the people who make up these lies and says, I say, poof, vamos, vamos.
I can see her saying that, like literally can visualize it.
And she's a legend in her own right. Jay-Z, yes, and same with Mariah. She doesn't need to lie about this. If she actually blew up with him over creative differences, she'd be like, I didn't, blah, 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 and then she'd sing a really high note.
So you don't think, because I kind of think they're both like divas of their own. I mean, they've both risen to a point.
Right.
And don't have to, like, they want to do what they want to do, and people don't say no to them anymore. So I could see some challenges, because she would be a strong believer in what she's saying.
She is a strong-willed woman. So was Jay-Z. I didn't know his nickname was Hova. Did you know that?
H-O-V? What does that stand for?
It's like for Jehovah, like, but just Hova.
Is it?
Like God.
Huh.
No, really, I looked this up. It's like it has something to do with this, because I was like, really? I wanted to make sure I said it right.
Well, like Hall of Nope.
Nope. It all plays off of the fact that he's like really good. I don't know.
He's very
Whatever.
talented.
Vamos was the best part of that whole thing.
Vamos.
Vamos. Next on the dish, this is great. A graduation photo that could probably truly only happen in Hollywood.
A group of seniors, they were preparing for posing for their graduation picture at the Griffith Observatory in LA, but they got a little help from a very famous face.
All right.
We'll do it like somewhere like in the front right here.
I have to be right here with the sun shining.
Yeah, exactly.
Y'all
Exactly.
get behind me and
okay.
I'll take a knee.
Exactly.
Okay, if you didn't recognize his voice, that's Jack Black posing for a photo with a group of students from La Quinta High School. He helped them find the best light for the photo, then he kneeled as they gathered around him, and instead of saying cheese, of course, they all yelled, "I love Jack Black," while the photo was being taken.
I would have thought
epic.
that Jack Black was too, I mean this because I love Jack Black, like he's too past their generation. He's too old for them to know who he is. No, I'm being serious.
No,
I mean,
I know, but I'm thinking that's like I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
Like,
you're probably
I would have
right.
freaked out, but I graduated high school like over a decade ago, right? So,
have you ever had any weird people always tell these stories, like Taylor Swift was in the park and took a picture with us, or Jack Black was.
Shane, we are not that lucky of people. No. It doesn't happen to us.
Same.
We don't just go, oh, look, who's in the elevator with me?
Madonna.
Also, high school, any kind of grad, anything photos, another level these days. Do you remember, like, you just stood with your friends in the sweaty gym and you just all went, yay, Mom,
I do. It's exactly what happened.
Right, and now it's like, I see these photos of kids I used to teach dance to, and they're like so set up and fabulous, and I'm like,
beautiful backdrop.
Yeah, no wonder you people look good all the time.
That's because they
are
are living the Instagram life. We were not living the Instagram life in high school. They just got printed out and put in a photo book for later.
Maybe.
Maybe. All right, next up in the dish, we could soon be watching more Netflix content featuring the one and only J-Lo. Yeah, Netflix and J-Lo's production company just inked a new multi-year deal that would include films, TV series, and unscripted content. Those projects will have a special focus on supporting diverse actors, writers, and filmmakers. The head of Netflix called J-Lo a force in entertainment. True. She already has 2 movies in the works with the streaming site, which will likely drop in 2022. So does she star in them?
I think one of them for sure she's training for right now. That's my understanding. It's about like a former agent or.
Does she have to do training? Have you seen her?
Right.
Like she's already ripped.
Someone who fights, kind of like the movie Enough that she did.
Okay.
You know, and then she teaches her daughter how to fight. I don't know why. I don't know what. It's just very elusive right now, but that's supposedly happening. I think this is great. I mean, more voices, love it. More diversity, get it.
More J-Lo.
Oh, she taught the world that booties are beautiful. Love you for that.
There's the quote of the morning.
Thank you.
Booties are beautiful. Hey, on that note, we'll be right back.
Booties are beautiful. J-Lo, Beyonce, Kim K.
She's cool.
J-Lo started it.
Changed everything.
Obviously, no one came here to make friends. You know, everyone came here to find love. You know, I'm a little jealous of all the other guys that have gotten to see her and give her a hug, but I wouldn't say I'm prepared to stay in here too much longer, honestly.
All right, man, you hang in there. I'd imagine it's probably a little tough to make a good first impression on Katie inside of a wooden box, but to each his own.
All right, hard turn on your side.
Just in here.
There you go, just like we're moving in together. Moving the couch.
Oh.
All right.
Sorry, all right, bud? It's a little bumpy. All right, good luck, buddy. You deserve it.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys. All right, well, if you want to come out.
I'm looking for the Bachelorette.
Hello.
child. You know what they say. Life gives you gifts.
Game over. No.
You take it, because that could be the Great Gatsby 2.0 emerging from the box. We've officially seen it all. James, that blessedly beautiful man, is a software salesman from La Jolla, California. That's why his suit was really nice. He waited in a gift box all night to meet Katie.
Like seemingly like 8 hours.
Could have gone wrong.
Yeah. Hopefully they let him out to use the restroom. 30 of the finest men that ABC could find put it all on the line for a new Bachelorette. Her name is Katie, and that first night was filled with gimmicks, innuendos, and as Bachelor Nation closes the chapter on Chris Harrison's possible era. And that means we got to bring him in, guys. America loves Ted. He returned from vacation just for this.
Just for this.
This very moment right here. Oh, our recently renovated Bachelor Nation headquarters.
Do you guys like my new home?
Wow.
So I see Katie behind you. Nice touch.
Ted. Okay, well, Shane just brought her up. Katie, what do you think of our new Bachelorette? Oh.
I mean, I'm going to give her more than one episode to prove herself to me. I don't think they set her up nicely last night. I thought there were a lot of too many gimmicks, too much, kind of trying to be funny. Just let her be Katie. But yeah, I'm not going to close the door on Katie just yet.
I wasn't totally impressed by her performance, but I thought she felt a little bit uncomfortable, and we've seen her on The Bachelor, and that same Katie hasn't quite found her way yet. So like you said, I'm going to give her some more time.
She was a good minor character, but now she's got to be the lead. Now she's got to be the main character.
I liked her, you guys.
Well, I mean, she was good in the role that she had.
That was offensive.
Silence.
What'd you think of Caitlin and Tayshia? They were filling in for Chris.
Right. I'm not really sure why we have two hosts.
Agreed.
Chris Harrison, as Shane said earlier, he doesn't have a huge role. He says like 3 lines the entire show. And then they're trying to break up those 3 lines. So it just seems unnecessary. And it just seemed a little too like a Bachelorette party. I needed someone to just kind of like hold her hand a little bit.
And on the show when they always bring back former bachelors or bachelorettes to talk to the new one and give them advice, I always think that is the most boring, wasted like 30 minutes of the show. But now is that what we're gonna try to do with this host relationship?
Yeah, that's like the weird, it's like, yeah, that's usually like the throwaway part where they bring back the old bachelors who, by the way, were not successful in their seasons.
That's
so,
true.
yeah, I hope that's not the way this goes. But yeah, and I don't need them eating popcorn, looking through the window, and getting their reaction shot. Meet her at the beginning. Tell them they have 1 rose left. Gentlemen who did not receive the rose, take a moment and say your goodbyes. That's the job.
And they don't need to say things at the same time. I was also annoyed by that whole, let's start it together, and then trying to make it work.
Okay, so we saw the gift that was the Great Gatsby, aka James, out of a box. How were all the other entrances?
They're about what you expect. But there was one guy who, I guess maybe he remembered that Katie likes cats, so now everyone's gonna call him the cat guy.
Yep.
Take a look.
Oh my.
There's a cat. There's a tail. Is there? No.
No
way.
Hi.
Hi.
It's so nice to finally meet you.
Oh my God.
Sorry. Terrible. Nice to finally meet you.
I don't know why you would do that.
My name's Connor. I'm a math teacher from Nashville.
Oh my God.
And I heard you were a huge cat lover.
I think I'm in love.
So I was hoping that this would make you want to ask me out.
I think it's perfect.
She laughed. I'd laugh too if some grown man got out of a car in a cat costume.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go find a nice tall glass of milk.
Oh,
So
enjoy.
wonderful to meet you. Okay, bye now.
Oh! Yes?
Yes? Good! She gave us double thumbs up.
She gave us double thumbs up.
She's got a type.
I didn't get the ask me out part until just now.
I did too. I meow. Okay. How about when they locked lips later and she was covered in black paint?
Yeah, I was like, if you didn't think the cat thing was going to work out well, it did work out for him. And she got covered in cat paint on her face.
Oh. This could have gone one of two ways. This is not the way I saw it going, but this is going to be a unique season. She's different.
I have a feeling she's into weird guys.
Clearly. That didn't weird her out at all.
Yeah, she was into it. I think he's probably a good math teacher. What did you think of the other guys?
So I'm not very good on names.
Oh.
It's a little early on the names.
Yep.
I do like the guy that came out in the ball pit, Trey. I thought he had a good story. I don't like the Australian football player or the Austrian football player. By the way, Austria, like, there's professional football, American football in Austria. I don't know about
He had a
that.
Vikings helmet on too.
And then there was that guy who got the first impression rose. I don't know what he did to get the first impression rose.
Oh, I like him.
Yeah, me
Greg.
too. It worked for me. Yep.
What?
What,
No,
what do you mean, what?
As soon as I texted my mom right away and I was like, I like him.
He's like, he looks like he's out of the 1990s.
Well,
Coming
so
back.
Are we?
Yeah. Coming back.
It's like Meet Joe Black or something. He was like this innocent,
Yeah,
like
Joe Dirt.
insecure.
No,
nope,
not to be
wrong
confused
one.
with Joe Dirt. Joe
Joe
Black.
Dirt was the guy who showed up in the RV.
Brad Pitt.
With the
Brad
dirty
Pitt.
undies on the couch.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah, that was weird. And then there was the guy with the genie, and like there was a lot of like sexual innuendo that I could do without.
Yeah.
You know, at least on night one. You know what? This is a show about love. Just give me love. Let's just fall in love and just watch this beautiful love story play out.
Uh-huh. That's what it's all about, right? Beautiful love story. Jeff's giving us the hard rap, but really quick, who's she gonna marry?
I don't know, cat guy?
Oh, really?
I don't even know his name, but sure.
Okay, well, I don't mean to follow Reality Steve on Twitter as we say thank you, Ted, but listen to this. No, I'm not going to do a spoiler. But he did tweet yesterday he has some news about this guy.
Ooh.
And he's from Nashville and he's a singer, so people were thinking maybe it ties into Jed. If you remember Jed.
Jed.
Or something.
Jed.
Right? Okay, we'll see. We'll wait and see what this is. Ted, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, Ted.
I don't think he's going to be right on that.
I don't think so either.
No.
You guys, digest all of that. Get it down. Have a cup of coffee. We'll be right back. We gotta digest that. We gotta talk about that.
There's so much to talk about.
I mean, the cat guy stuff.
Welcome back. You know when it is this hot outside, it's hard to talk, but also you might be looking for a new show to binge while enjoying, hopefully, the AC working in your home. Fingers crossed.
Seriously, I sometimes debate living in the basement. Shane and I both have a new show that we're loving, so it's time for our version of Best Thing Ever. Okay, I'm up first. I've been asking Jason to check this show out for a while, and he's always like, oh yeah, and then he doesn't. So I'm really excited that I get to talk about it. It's a travel and food show that's been CNN for a little while. It started in about February or March of this year. I just finished it though. Stanley Tucci, Searching for Italy.
But it's the hands of the ordinary people that have crafted the incredible food here.
It's like a Christmas in your mouth. Yeah.
This is a place built on human ingenuity, mind-boggling riches, and an insane amount of bread. I really don't know how they eat this much bread.
Well, it's delicious, but so hot.
It is such a goodie. There's about 6 or 7, maybe 8 episodes this first season. They're all about an hour long, and he goes to different regions of Italy. So I should admit that I love Stanley Tucci. He's one of my favorites. I just think he's got a really cool personality and vibe. He's a great actor. So that drew me to the show originally.
Yep.
2, that it was in Italy. I'm like, well, who doesn't want to watch some Italian show, right? So 1, it is beautiful. The shots, the sounds, the sights.
His voice.
Oh, his voice. It's a really gorgeous cinematic experience. Plus, you learn about a lot of cultural things that you would not have normally known. When we've gone on vacations, I really like to go off the beaten path. Like, go on the cool food tour that goes into the pocket that no one else knows about. And he does a lot of that. His producers are Italian, so they've got a lot of that going on. Plus, his grandparents are straight off the boat, moved to New York. His parents lived in New York, but they lived in Florence for a year. So he talks about that a lot and about his family history. Speaks a little bit of Italian, so it's kind of fun watching him interact with the locals. It's just a really good escapism show.
Yep.
Some of it was filmed before the pandemic, some of it during the pandemic, so that's an interesting little bit. It has been picked up for season 2 like right away, but if you
Will he travel to a new place then, or do you?
Yeah, so it's all regions, and so there's
but he'll
20
stay
to
in
30
Italy.
regions. Yeah, he'll stay in Italy, and he's only covered a few that they're all the ones that you've heard of, right? So really, really good. I love it if you just want to kind of get away and watch something with really pretty sights.
But does it just make you want to eat pasta and bread all the time?
Yes. Come prepared.
I was just going to say, so plan your takeout meal or whatever so you can satisfy those cravings.
And good wine. Oh, the wine and the cheese and it's so good. Beautiful.
Okay. Love it. That looks great. Next one is like the opposite of what Kendall's suggesting because it's totally trash TV. But My Best Thing Ever is a show that just arrived on Netflix after premiering on cable last year, but I didn't see it then. It's season 2 of the anthology series Dirty John. So this one focuses on the real life story of Betty Broderick.
My husband left me for his secretary, Linda.
Linda?
This is Linda. Hello?
The only thing Betty cares about is money.
I can be kind, I can be nice. I'm a woman being divorced in America. I have no rights. He's calling the shots. I want to smash things. I can be sugar, I can be spice. If you've never smashed anything before, it feels great.
Well, things take a turn. Amanda Peet plays Betty Broderick, a woman who right off the bat, I'm not spoiling anything, is known right off the way that she killed her ex-husband. So that's what we open with, knowing who's dead and who did it, as opposed to Dirty John season 1, where it was a whodunit the whole time and who's dead and who's still alive. So this one we know that, but then it works backwards. You start off seeing this kind of unhinged woman, and then it slowly shows how she got to this point and the manipulation. He's this high-powered attorney. She couldn't get an attorney to represent her. He manipulated everybody along the way, and you start to just, I'm not going to say they paint a good guy, bad guy, because they both are at fault for how things went down and how bad they went. But I did not Google, which is very hard.
Okay.
I watched the whole thing play out because I just wanted to see it. I didn't remember this story either, so I didn't know much about it. But it's set in the 80s, so the clothes, the hair, the music, the way it's shot are really cool too. Amanda Peet's amazing, by the way.
I love her.
Yes, she's so good at
So
this.
you don't have to watch season 1 to enjoy
totally
season 2.
Separate thing. And I guess there is a podcast about this one, but I didn't listen to it.
Okay.
So,
and you recommend nobody, like if you don't know the story, like I don't look it up?
I mean, you could. Again, we know the whodunit, but just kind of finding out how you get there is really kind of the intriguing part. It's really a human interest story rather than the whodunit mystery. Okay. But it's good. It's really good.
Dirty John on Netflix, Stanley Tucci searching for Italy on
shows.
CNN. Get all of your bread in the basket, people.
Nice.
Those 2 shows, they are our latest best thing ever. And they are pretty darn good.
Yep. Hey, we'll be right back.
So we know that she's
Yes. That is the latest song from Olivia Rodrigo, currently #2 on the Billboard charts. I swear I've seen that video before by Taylor Swift for Shake It Off, but sure. She is one of the best, or biggest artists, I should say, of the year so far. Hit after hit after hit. Welcome back. Now, if you had to choose a decade with the very best music, what would it be?
Think about it. A new survey on YouGov.com asked us the question. The current decade, the 2020s, only got about 2% of the vote, but hey, we're young.
It's still new.
It's literally 2021, while the 2010s only got 3% of the vote.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna check out the top 5, starting with number 5.
Come and open your place right now.
video. For real though, come on Beyonce. The 2000s. Some Beyonce and others ruled music. Finished 5th with 6% saying it's the best decade of music. Only 6% of people. I always wonder, who do you poll? You know, because like I would be like, oh, duh.
I feel like it's too when you had that point. Okay, so the 2000s was like going out, graduating high school, college, when you're like just really eating up the music scene. And this one was one of the very best. Up next, number 4, although we're gonna have to stop that song now, which is kind of sad, but here's number 4. The 60s was the decade of Bob Dylan, the Beatles, and Motown, but only 13% say it's the best.
Huh. The 60s, I feel like the latter half, in my opinion, the latter half of the 60s has aged well. I am not a huge fan of the early 60s music.
And see, I don't honestly know. I hate to admit it, I don't know a lot of 60s tunes, so
right.
Hard for me to
kind
judge.
that you are like, oh, I didn't realize like this song by Bob Dylan. I'm like, oh, I had no idea that was from the 60s. It's like that. That's how it is for me, at least. Good stuff. Let's go to number 3 when it comes to the best music decade. Hey, the 90s, baby. I don't know what that was.
Okay, Austin Powers.
Thank you. When Nirvana and grunge, rap, boy bands, they were all huge. Let's not forget Britney, Christina, Mandy Moore, all those young gems that we loved. Boy bands, obviously, really, I mean, the 90s, when I think of the 90s, boy bands, heavy metal like that.
That took a turn. We go from like grunge in Seattle, like heavy rock, to like bye, 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 bye. You know, clearly those NSYNC, Britney, all that, those, my time.
Yes.
All right.
We know how Shane feels about it.
I know, I don't even need to say this, you know. We're up to number 2. What is it?
You can go your own way.
Okay, the 70s, bands like Fleetwood Mac, who I love, as well as disco, the new wave, finished 2nd with 21% of the votes.
Okay, this would have been my number 1.
I do love myself some Fleetwood Mac.
I think all of it has just aged super well from that decade.
They're still touring and selling out. I tried to get tickets last time. They came and they were astronomically priced, so I didn't get a seat.
Right, yeah, so I mean, I'm gonna just disagree, because if you've been keeping track, you've probably figured out what the number 1, and I think Shane and I agree.
We're not saying 80s, are we? Oh my gosh.
Yep, the 80s. It's the decade of Madonna, Michael Jackson, Prince, heavy metal, and of course, hip hop. Okay, Shane and I had the same reaction to this, which was like, the 80s? However, when you do think about all the people and the different kinds of music that came out then, I can get the argument, I guess. I'm still sticking with the 70s.
There was some really bad music and fashion, but these people spanned, I mean, they're still relevant, most of them, so that's why I don't think of them as like 80s.
I guess. Hey, let us know what you think.
No?
Let us know what you think. We'll see. We're just gonna keep dancing into the break, y'all. Turn it up.
I'm gonna do a Carlton. Welcome back. We're just trying to digest some breaking news on the old Twitter. There's an article that says Chris Harrison exits The Bachelor for good.
Via deadline, right?
Yes. So we'll see if they backtrack that at all. But
we'll see. Hey, you can stay connected with The Jason Show on social media like the Twitter, the Facebook, the Instagram, and the TikTok. Hey, YouTube too. Jason Show TV. Find us there.
Okay, we got our final question, which ties in perfectly to what we were just talking about. The question is, what was your first concert? Think about it. We'll tell you after the break. Do you not remember?
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Now, before we get to the infamous bubblegum goodbye question, Shane, you had an interesting morning.
I did. I got to go check out the new expanded aerial adventure park at Kerfoot Canopy Tours near Henderson, and I took a big leap. Watch this. Here I go. Oh! Oh my gosh. Oh! I'm glad I haven't eaten breakfast yet. Oh my gosh, I shook for like maybe an hour or two after that, just shaking. It catches you quick, but that first step is terrifying.
No.
Anyway,
Okay.
it was fun though, it was fun.
So what was your first concert?
First concert, this is not gonna surprise anyone, New Kids on the Block.
Oh God. Got a bunch
Right?
of hits. Mine was, I think, Rascal Flatts, the State Fair.
Oh, that's a good one too, I think. We nailed it.
Hey guys, tomorrow on the show, Jason's back with some stories from his trip to LA. He also went back to the movie theater for the first time since the pandemic started. So he's gonna talk about that tomorrow. Thanks, Shane.
Thanks for having me, friends.
Hey.
Bye.
Bye.